11 a.m. Eastern. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl in Boca Raton, Florida. We're talking Western Kentucky against Appalachian State. Appalachian State is a 3-point favorite over under 67.5. This game, as I said, is 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Motivation. Well, we start there. I think it's about even here. I don't think there's any major edge either way. App State, by the way, is 6-0 all time in bowl games, the highest win percentage ever. Western Kentucky 4-3 as a program at the FBS level. They lost last year. One thing to keep in mind, Bailey Zappi, the question is, where is he going to go pro? Is he going to opt out? You know, you had their offensive coordinator, Zach Kittley, take the job at Texas Tech, the same position. However, Kittley is staying to call plays. Zappi is going to play. And, you know, they had Mason Brooks, their all-conference offensive tackle, entered the transfer portal. So did their receiver, Mitchell Tinsley, of 80 catches, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. But they both said they're going to play. So it's basically like, hey, we're going to keep the band together one last time. It's all these Houston Baptist guys. So Western Kentucky, it seems like they want to go out on top and one last party. They're really going to care here. There are some assistants that won't be coaching. Their co-offensive coordinator, Brian Ellis, took the OC job at Georgia Southern. The offensive line coach, Stephen Hamby, joined Texas Tech staff. They won't be there. A couple defensive losses, Western Kentucky. Their defensive tackle, Jeremy Darvin, is just huge in the run game. He got hurt early against UTSA. He's out. He had surgery. Starting linebacker, Will Ignat, he didn't play the last 2 games due to injury. I think he's out again as well. One of their best corners is also into the transfer portal, but he's going to play. So it seems like everyone cares and wants to win this game. On the App State side, Corey Sutton, one of their best receivers, he will miss this game after undergoing surgery. When I look at this game, it's the Western Kentucky, we talked about Western Kentucky. They really should have won that UTSA game, but their defense is playing a lot better in the second half of the year. They got healthier, made some schematic changes, and their offense has been rolling. I mean, they were just dominating teams. It's strength on strength when they're going up against the App State defense. And on the other side of the ball, App State, they haven't really run the ball that well this year. Chase Bryce has been okay at times, and that's kind of been the strength of their team. But Western Kentucky's better in the secondary than they are in the run defense. So it's trying to figure out how that dynamic is going to work. At the end of the day, I know that Western Kentucky really cares here. I think you're going to get everything they have from a playbook standpoint. By the way, Zappy Hour is at 57 touchdowns. Joe Burrow has a single season record of 60. So you can break that record here. Ultimately, I say, look, I got Zappy with 3 points and with a 3 in my pocket against Chase Bryce, who I just ultimately don't trust in a game that I make a coin flip. I think I might have one last dance after the disappointment in the bowl game with the Toppers. What say you?
I might be against you. I'm monitoring this line, watching it like a hawk. I think, and really, it was your piece, and I'm telling everybody, direct yourself to Stuckey's piece about who's in, who's out, coaches, players, everything. And Stuck is right. There's a lot of Western Kentucky players that are in the portal, but they're going to play this game. Defensive back Beanie Bishop is on Twitter right now, like retweeting Old Dominion, like, thank you for the offer. Thank you for the offer. Like, everybody's sending him offers and he's just retweeting and saying, thank you. I mean, it's crazy what's going on with Western Kentucky, but I think it's important to know that Western Kentucky is dealing with a lot of off-field issues, besides the coaching staff, besides the players, besides what's going on here. Western Kentucky, where they're at location in the state of Kentucky just went through a massive tornado event that ripped through and killed a lot of people. And it wasn't really that far away from campus. There's been a ton of personal time spent on relief funds, setting those up for people that were affected in the area by that. So I'm not sure how much of that is on their minds, along with the fact already having 1 foot out the door and leaving the program. So I would just say, from a whole focus perspective, it's more, you can question Western Kentucky versus, questioning whether App State, who's got their full focus on this game. But you're right. Zach Kittley is going to call this before he goes to Texas Tech, going to return back to Texas after being at Houston Baptist. I would be shocked if Bailey Zappi isn't in the portal the day after this game. When we talk about free agency, this is him and Grayson McCall are going to be the 2 biggest in the market. So, where is his mindset about breaking Joe Burrow's record versus hitting the portal the next day? I think you're right. I think they'll be fired up. So I think,
So what makes you like App State?
and it's your piece. And so much focus has been on the App State defense. And the thing that I get from Stuckey's article is that the two coaches that won't be there, co-offensive coordinator Brian Ellis and offensive line coach Stephen Hamby. This is not a defense in the trench that Western Kentucky's offensive line wants to have problems with. If they need to make adjustments after 2 or 3 series, they don't have their coach. They don't have their co-coordinator, and their other co-coordinator is calling the plays. And you do not want to have problems against this App State front seven. That is their best part of their defense. So the first question for me is App State going to be able to contain that potent passing attack? The Mountaineers are 28th in coverage. They're 23rd in passing success rate. They get to the quarterback in passing downs. So maybe they'll have some success against Zappy. And the issue is that they're 119th in defensive pass EPA. So Zappy's going to get those 3 touchdowns. I guarantee you. They're going to be bombs. But if they get behind the line of scrimmage or there's interceptions or the long snapper is throwing it over Zappy's head or the offensive line has any problems, App State is number 1 in the nation in defensive havoc. Number 1. Western Kentucky has to have a clean sheet here. And that's why with the offensive line coach not being there and not being able to make adjustments in game, that would make me a little bit worried if App State figures out how to crisscross stunts with their defensive interior, hide their blitz packages. I would be worried about Western Kentucky making those changes on the fly. So App State's going to be able to run all day on this Western Kentucky defense. We know that. We said that about Army. The Hilltoppers are bottom 10 in stuff rate, 95th in rushing success rate. If head coach Sean Clark of the Mountaineers, if he wants to slow this game down, they have a tempo 79th and drain clock, he's going to be able to do it. And the biggest advantage in this game is finishing drives. App State is top 15 on both sides of the ball. Western Kentucky 102nd defensively. I have lived the pain of best bets on Big Bets on Campus Saturday, best bets of podcast best bets, of being on Western Kentucky, of having to hedge a Conference USA title, and Western Kentucky's lining up and kicking field goals all game. And on the other side of the ball, they're outside the top 100 finishing drive. So there's frustration here with what's going on in the red zone with Western Kentucky on both sides. The power ratings for me make this a pick. That's where I'm a little hesitant on this whole App State -3. I think with the Bailey Zappi chatter, I think with the attention they're getting, the public is falling in love with this kid. The Joe Burrow stats getting thrown around a lot more. I think the numbers are going to come off 3. So I don't think it's going to come up. I don't think Western Kentucky is going to get any more points. They might turn into a public darling here. But for me, I want the team that's going to dominate in the trench. That's App State. I want the team that's number 1 in havoc. That's App State. And with Western Kentucky not having their offensive line coach to adjust, that would make me really worried about backing the Hilltoppers here.